Hey guys, John from Perfect Follow Up, and in this video, we're going to cover how to import your contact lists into Perfect Follow Up. So, why would you want to do this? Well, initially, when configuring the software, it's going to be empty from a contact perspective. Depending on what type of lead generation pipelines you're feeding into the software, you may populate this relatively quick with new opportunities. But I would suggest taking your existing list, whether it's from a different CRM or it's just an Excel file on your computer, and get that data into Perfect Follow Up as well. This list can consist of existing customers. It can be prior leads that never converted. It can be customers that you've even lost that you might want to run a reactivation campaign to bring back that business. So let me show you a sample of what a CSV Excel file should look like and some of the common information that you want to include in your import. I would recommend spending some time up front, depending on what the conditions of your list look like, to make sure it's in the best format before importing the information. You know what they always say, garbage in, garbage out, right? So we want to make sure that this list is polished and clean as possible. Not that you couldn't modify things once they're in, but it's always better, I think, to do it up front. So we have some sample data here, and I think, what the most important information and what the most common information that you should have is first name, last name, email, phone number, preferably their cell phone number. I know that's not always an easy one to capture, but if you're going to be sending text messages from our software, it's always good to have their cell phone. Their street, city, state, of course, is always good information, and then their zip code. Now, this last field here called tag, this you'll learn more about as you go through the videos, but it's very powerful from an organization standpoint and a segmentation standpoint to put tags, and these are just words or numbers that are associated with each contact entry. And we'll show you some really cool things you can do as far as sorting those contacts based on their tag and just seeing where they are in the journey, where they are in the sales cycle. So before I import this, I want to show you some examples that I have. And depending on where you're exporting the information from, you may already have these tags set up, but it's always good to standardize. So just some quick examples. I've tagged a certain percentage of these leads or contact entries as active customers. And again, you can name these tags anything that you want. So active is the first one. I've also tagged a certain amount of contacts as inactive customers. These may be customers that you had before that are no longer your customer, or perhaps they put a pause on their recurring service, but they're not currently paying you money or on a subscription type service. The next one here, just as an example, we have is open lead. So these are leads that you've had that maybe you've had a conversation with them, maybe you haven't, but they've never converted into a customer. So these are potential customers for your business, and probably one of the most important ones outside of active, right? These are leads that you want to follow up on and eventually convert into customers. And then we also have, as another tag example, say you're running a particular offer. It could be on Facebook, it could be on Google, could be Home Advisor, could be TikTok, but it's always good to track why and where your leads came into your world. So we have some sample tags here as far as an offer that we were running for a particular mosquito service. And this could be anything. This could be power washing, this could be home renovation, this could be really any service that you offer and any offer that you were promoting. The next one is canceled. And this could just be a customer that canceled for whatever reason. It could be their service. Maybe it was an appointment. Again, I want you to think about not what I have in front of you. These are just examples. But in your business, what tags would make sense? And you probably already know this answer. Just ask yourself the question, how do I segment my customers, my leads, my previous customers? What terminology do I use in my business? And that's really what your tag is. The most important thing, as I mentioned before, is just to standardize this and have few, right? They have to make sense. There has to be some sort of legend or method behind it, because if you just have thousands of tags, it's not going to serve you well. And I think that's it. Okay, so here's what we do to get this data into Perfect Follow-Up. The first thing you're going to do is go down to Contacts. And as you can see, it's blank. And you want to select Import Contacts. All right, so now that we have this interface open, it's really easy just to grab the file from your computer and literally drag and drop it into this field here. Or you can search for it, whatever is easier for you. So we're going to select our file there. And as you can see, it shows up in the preview field, and then select Next. Okay, so now we're in the process of mapping the information. So you have certain fields at the top of your import file. Mine are labeled first name, last name, email, phone. Depending on how you type this in or where the information is coming in, it might look different. So we just want to make sure that when we import this information, it's going in the right place. And the software does a really good job, but it's always good to give it a once over. So from our import file, we have the column headers, first name, some preview information, and then what the contact field in Perfect Follow-Up will look like. So first name matches first name, last name, email and phone look good as well. Now street is not recognized, right? So let's drop this down and select address, and we're good there. City, state, zip, it's called postal code, but it's still zip code, so we're good there. And the tag column is called tags, so we're clean. And if you want to preview any of these, there's other fields that you can fill in as far as time zones or birthdays, do not contact. So again, there's more information we could import if we wanted to, but just for sample reasons, this is good enough for now. So once you've confirmed that everything looks good, right, take the time to do that, select Next, and you have an import name. You have some options here if you want to name it appropriately based on the date. I just leave it as a default because the timestamp for me is most important. If you drop down Advanced, you can also do some other things with the files as well, or you can even add your tags or additional tags based on this wizard as you're importing. So you may want to add a tag to all of the contacts that says the current date. So today happens to be January 25th, 2022 already. Still trying to remember that. I'm not going to do it, but for an example reason, you could, just in case you're curious when and where the leads came from. You could also go one step further and add these leads to a workflow or a campaign. We'll talk more about that in the other videos, but for now, we just want to get them in the system. We don't want to send them any emails or text messages or even add them to any sort of CRM pipeline. We just want them in the system, right? All right, so based on that, we're going to add new and update existing contact records. 99% of the time, that's what you want to do, and then submit. And that's it. The system works very fast. We've imported tens of thousands of contacts in only a matter of minutes. So you can leave this screen if you want and do some other work. You can also click here to view the progress. But at this point, everything is really complete from your side. And if you click on contacts again, you'll see they're in the system. All right, so the next video, we're going to talk a little bit more about how to use smart lists, where we can actually take this information and create some really cool filters.